Hello, MU7 here back on another video. I have my teammate Trenton, who got second place with the infamous Beerus. So we're gonna do a deck prop in a moment. Stay tuned.
I'm just up in my sway. Stay in my bag, I got plenty for days. Chief and that don't come with no haze. Jewelry all on me, it's wet like a tray. Addicted to pay, know all the steppers, no kidding in play. Look at my team, see all of us made. Came a long way for minimum wage.
So I have my teammate Trenton here. He got second place at TCG Con with Beerus. How are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good. I mean, I feel pretty good about going into this 50-man tournament. Played my favorite deck, especially with the fact that Chunk Counterplay got hit, so it was very strong. And it was a sleeper deck because no one else was playing it at the event. And the amount of groans people got when I tapped 16 on them, 5 out of 6 of my rounds, I mean, it's very amusing.
Is Beerus your best friend? Yeah, you're very
Absolutely,
close.
absolutely. You gotta have the superhero card and you have to have the worship card. But to get started going into the deck profile,
Yep.
Beerus has a plain simple auto when he attacks a leader. You get draw a card, or you get to pop a cost 2 or less. And then he has the awaken side of if you have 4 energy or 4 life, you can awaken it by untap 1, draw 1. Alright, then you have on the back side of the Beerus leader, because this is the reboot, it is a draw card on attack of anything, and it can pop a card 3 or less instead of 2 or less like it does on the back side. Also, it has the permanent of if your opponent's life is at 4 or less and it hits, you get a free ramp. So you're always getting at least 1, maybe 2 cards out of your opponent's hand with that permanent. And then the main bread and butter, the tap 16, win the game. My build is very different than the build that topped at Nationals. It's pure, I'm tapping 16 on you, and there was, during Swiss, I tapped 16 on 5 out of my 6 opponents, and then I tapped it 16 at least once in best of, in my top 8 and top 4. So let's get into the build. First up, we have 4 Boo Unisons. Everyone knows what this card does. It's the staple unison of all blue decks. So just 20k double strike blocker, and it gets rid of a card. Next up is your turn 1 play. Super crucial you play this card. If not, you don't want to have to go into your Z battle cards later, but we'll go into that. On play, draws a card, and then I can tap 2, and I can put it into my energy. So you're more than likely only doing this on your turn 2 play of putting it into your energy, and then anything else, you're just using it to bait out your opponent's counterplays. Next up, 4 Bean. This card got eroded, but this card is still good as shit. It gives 5k constant. It gets me to untap my energy so I can access my floodgates later on in the game. It discourages a lot of people, especially later on. Another staple, 4 D-Match. I don't have to explain what this does. Next up, new contender. We have the Android 17 Defending Friends. This card, it's just it's a negate for 1. However, if you have a Z battle card on board, which almost no one's gonna pop a lot of your Z battle cards, or if you have 3 Z energy, which that's super easy to manage, you get a Baby Gohan minion negate effect for 1. Super strong, super good. Would get them if you have them. I run 2 Zeno super combos because I run a mix of the Vegeta bottom deck draw 2 super combos. This helps you get your key pieces. Like if you had to charge a 6 drop early, you can get it back out. If you charged your 12 drop or anything else that you really need to see, this just digs it back out. Also, interaction that you have is the Wheeze. So say I can Zeno super combo, I can Wheeze, put that Zeno super combo back into my energy, and then I can Zeno super combo, grab back my Zeno, and so I'm just recycling my Zenos at that rate.
Oh, really?
I think in one game I played 8 super combos because I just recycled Zeno 3-4 times. So next up we have Dirty Burst. Super crucial card for as long as big boss monsters are still in the format. So 8 drops, it tells you no, and it draws you a card. Also, it's a negate. So this is situational card. It's a counter battle card attack, so it's really good against cell that you play in Gamma because it doesn't proc their auto because it says a counter attack. It's a counter battle card attack, completely different. So I can just go ahead and negate their double strike, and then immediately it's just 1 damage instead of.
Yeah.
And it's also only for 1. More often than not, I was using this as early combo fodder, but it does what it does. Next up, 3 Beerus Realm of the Gods. What can I say? It gets rid of It gets rid of any deck's early play boss monster, or it just, as well as it on your opponent's turn, it gets you draw a card, and it gets rid of the small boys. So specifically Vegito Rush Attack. If your opponent doesn't want to give it barrier, you can just go ahead and bottom deck it. Next up, 3 more negates. It's the Child's Armory. It's the token negates. It's the freest thing in the world, especially if you're at 5 life. The other 2 super combos, pretty simple. Bottom deck, draw 2, 10k. There's nothing really quirky about my build, except just the fact of it's stall. Next up, we have 3 Vegeta Ready to Rumbles. Almost no one is blowing counterplays on this anymore, so now that like it got phased out, all those counterplays got phased out, there was never once that this hit board, and the only thing that counterplayed it was Gamma, so. And they had to tap 4 on their turn.
Alright, so what's
Next up, we have 2 Kale. Card's super good, especially in any ramp deck. I get to 7 energy super quickly, and if I need to survive the next turn and my opponent has a big board, I just bottom deck everything, and then I can pressure them if I want to. So, super strong.
You maintain the level 2.
We run the 1 counter 8. It's pretty self-explanatory. It just basically the turn that I go to Baby Hatch just to get me to to allow to tap 16, and if my opponent wants to counter 8 me, I can just counter the counter 8. It's very good. I run this because it is the best bait in this format right now for blue to get rid of people's the Smoke Dragon, because they're tapping 2 to remove this card. Be my guest. Like, it's not only is it a 20k triple strike, but it's also a floodgate that basically tells your opponent, good luck. Like, just keep swinging into this while I negate it. Like, you're wasting your swings on this. I can get Z energy by comboing on it because 20k is, most people would just go 20k flick at it. So
I love the artwork on that.
Oh yeah, I want to run one of every art.
Do you really?
Yeah. So you have the OG, the Nats promo, and then the SPR.
He's at 3,000, so we're 5,000.
Yeah. Next up, the card that is most likely getting banned after Worlds. 6-drop.
You think so?
There's only 1 card in the game that hit. Sorry, 2 cards in the game that hit this card.
Black Smoke?
No. There's Death Blaster, which is a yellow counterplay to where if they warp 2 extra cards from their drop, it's a Cold Bloodlust for 2. And so I don't get my auto.
Oh, wow.
And then the other one is a Deborah. It's a black counterplay Deborah that it plays itself, but it stops pending autos.
Ooh.
So it's very, very strong. And this card it's a blocker, it's an attacker, and it gives me 4 energy or 4 cards in the hand.
You think it might get banned?
There's nothing that hits this. This card is too strong, and Beerus will be sticking around even after Worlds if they don't hit that.
Not even limited 1?
Even limit 1 is still strong, and I still feel that it's just still such a good card. Next up, Android 17 Turning the Tides. I run it at 2. It's either combo fodder or it's charge fodder, and regardless, if I need it, I can Zeno it and grab it back out. Secret Hatch. Everyone wants to run the Exodia combo of just tap. If you're at 8 energy, you win the game by just tapping 6, putting all 4 in there, tapping 6, putting all 4 in there, and then tapping 2 with the Goku secret and untapping all your energy, and then tapping 16. But that's very crucial key moments that Hatch it does the same thing at 8 energy. If you're playing the Goku SCR over a Hatch, in my opinion, you're trolling. There is no in between.
Trolling.
Last one, 12 drop Whis.
Ooh, set 1.
Set 1, 12 drop Whis. It is a quad striker that you can't combo on when it swings, and at the end of the turn, if my leader is a Beerus card, I reset the turn. So it's great for slow matchups. If I'm in turns, I can just play this, and immediately, if I'm like turn 2, I'm now turn 3 as well, and I pass the turn and I have game.
It's crazy.
But more often than not, I played this combo of just going tap 12 Whis, passing turn, tapping 7 to Android 17, turning the tides, and just making sure my opponent has no cards in their hand. They're at 4 life, and I just swing 40 quad, and that's game. And I did that. I did this play once during each of my my top cut rounds. I did it in top 8, I did it in top 4, and then I did it in finals. And very strong combo. Ready. Next up for the Z deck, brand new card that came in the anniversary box. It's a 2-drop Z battle card Whis that comes out for 1 Z energy, so it's super good. On play, you get an energy, and it has the active main effect of you can remove it from the game to top deck one of your opponent's 4 or less battle cards, and that's super crucial. Next up, we have Beerus. It's a great barrier removal by its tap 2 effect, and also it has the auto of when it attacks, you can bottom deck something that's higher than your opponent's energy. So, and it gets +5, and it's not once per turn. And then the last card in my Z deck is the Cell. If someone wants to swing wide on you and they don't have barrier, you just tap 3, you clear their board, and then you get a 25 triple strike crit. So, if you absorb, I believe it's 5 cards. All right, and for the sideboard, to be honest, don't take this to heart. I literally made this sideboard as I was running out of my apartment, so that just goes to show how good the main board is, that a lot of this I probably didn't use. I run the Son Goku just because if you're playing against Trunks Cheetah, it gets rid of their big hand, makes them only have 10. Super good. Next up, we have the 5-drop Vegito. It's very good just because it gets a card out of your opponent's hand. It's a triple striker on swing. It's a blocker, and you're getting rid of a card off their board. Running a 3rd Dirty Burst just for the Gogeta GT matchup to stop the pesky 8-drop turn. Running a 4th Realm of the Gods. It's pretty self-explanatory. Running 2 Mickey covers the Broken Seal. This is good if you don't see your Dirty Burst and to Gogeta GT, you can just declare Gogeta GT 8-drop. You're fine. Bafuba is just a good negate if your opponent has a bunch of attacking. Yeah, no, I wish I had more of this artwork. It's very clean, very well done, Bandai, by the reprint. For hand control, the one thing about Beerus is it hardcore loses to hand control, and it hardcore loses to Broly, OG Broly, starter Broly. Even Magenta. Magenta's a very strong deck, but this helps you out with the matchup a little bit. This is just if I'm playing against a game where I'm never going to Turning the Tides, I'll just sideboard out my Turning the Tides for the Trunk just because it's a blue target for my 6-drop Vegeta. It's a negate for 1 if I have my Bunison, and it's 5k combo. I mean, that's literally the only reason.
This has confront as well?
This mainly is for the 8-coup matchup or anything that wants to weenie rush me. On play, it has the auto if my opponent wants to swing at me, they have to bottom deck a 2 or higher from their field. And so if it's a deck that has a lot of barrier stuff like Gamma or 8-coup, it's really hard for them to get around this auto, so this gives you another turn. Not to mention it has a -2 to bounce their whole board back to their hand, ignoring barrier. And it has the -1 of draw 2, ditch 1. And then the last one, we run 1 more of the GOAT. It's mainly if I'm playing against a deck that wants to go down to 4 super quickly just to turn on their super combos, and there is no other way of me killing them is without that. So
your deck is broken. Are there any shout outs you want to do?
Shout out to Team Rays for just helping me and supporting me with my deck choice. And shout out to Galaxy Games, our sponsor. That's about it.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye. Wait. Don't go just yet. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at FNU7Glover. And don't worry, I'll follow back. Bye.